My name is Michael Heads. I'm the Managing Director of a company called Two Opic P&I Correspondence. It's Two Oceans P&I Correspondence, and we represent the international group of P&I clubs, including the North Standard in South Africa. So we got a phone call from MRCC, as I'm one of the listed names under the South African National Oil Spill Contingency Plan. On receiving of the call, we were advised that there was a ship in distress, and we immediately set about trying to save the crew. After we saved the crew, I was then acting as the interface between the P&I club and the Salvage and the South African government. As you know, the Department of Transport, there is SAMSA, and I was liaising throughout with Vernon Keller and Captain Neville Noble. And of course, then I spent my time liaising with the Department of Forestries, Fisheries and Environment. And there I deal with Dr. Peterson, Feroza Albertus, Lona Undaka, and of course, Jessica Mans.
How have you found things so far? How has been the cooperation been between the various parties that are involved in this kind of work?
I enjoy a very close and special relationship with the South African Maritime Safety Authority. It's important for P&I clubs to have a voice and a representative in a region, and to have a correspondent who can actually interface between themselves and the government in order to carry out the important work that needs to be done, especially when it comes to marine casualties.
If you were to explain the P&I to an ordinary person, an ordinary South African, what would you describe it as?
That's one of the most challenging questions one receives in the marine environment. Who is the insurer? Who's paying the bills? And can you explain what a club is? And of course, the P&I clubs are so old, been around since the first formation of shipping, when they used to incorporate the third-party liabilities of ship owners, but they used to also cover the risk and liabilities in terms of the hull. Since then, clubs have grown and developed. The international group P&I clubs, they probably insure 95% of the world's merchant shipping fleet. And in South African waters, because of the issues that are happening in the Gulf, more and more ships are passing around the southern point of Africa. And during this time of the year, it's obviously very challenging because of our winter sea conditions. There have been a number of cases recently, even before the Ultra Galaxy, where ships ran into difficulties in South African waters. And of course, SAMSA, through MRCC, are the first to respond. And again, under the National Oil Spill Plan, they contact me. And if I hear of any ships that are in difficulty, I automatically contact MRCC and the nearest SAMSA office in the vicinity of the ship.
This is the first vessel of its size and kind to ground in South Africa in recent years. What would be the cost of recovering whatever is in that vessel and disposing that vessel?
That's a very, very difficult question in terms of a very inflationary market. As you know, costs always increase on a daily basis when it comes to the matters of this kind. The last big cases we had on the South African coastline, 2013, I think it was the Kiani Satu that ran aground in the Gokama region. After that, at the same time, literally, we just refloated the Kiani Satu when the Smart ran aground in Richards Bay and broke her back in 3 places. And the incredible thing about South Africans, when we quickly responded to that matter, that ship broke her back in 3 places. And despite the serious damage to the vessel, we didn't spill a drop of oil, which is a big plus to the work done by the Smith team in Cape Town. And of course, the P&I Club who responded. The cost of wreck removals in the current market always come down to the position of the ship, the condition of the ship, and the best way the wreck can be removed. And that is something which needs to be assessed in due course.
Weather has played havoc since the grounding of this vessel on or about the 9th of July. And we've had a spillage, but from what I understand, it's a tiny drop compared to the fuel that's still on board. Worst case scenario, what would be a worst case scenario?
A worst case scenario? There is no such thing as a worst case scenario in the world of salvage. We always plan ahead for the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario hasn't occurred. But if it does occur, I have a team already on the beaches waiting to respond. So a couple of days ago, if anybody had come down to the beach, they would have seen black oil on the beaches. One has to look at the difference between mineral sands on the beaches and oil. And as you can see today, when the press and the CEO from SAMSA came down, the first thing they turned around and the Department of Environmental Affairs and said, Michael, look at our boots, they're clean.